All right, guys, welcome to the corporate, the mystic, and the money. So excited to be bringing this to you. My name's Angela Koning. I'm a corporate leadership coach and trainer. I'll let the girls introduce themselves fully, but we've got Jennifer Forster and Jodi Nolan on the call as well. And we are talking all about, in this 4-episode series, how to align your purpose, lifestyle, and money to create a life of freedom. And we're bringing this to you because it feels to us like that's what we've done and what we're doing. And whenever Jen and Joe and I have a conversation about this, we know other people will benefit from it. So that's what we're here to offer you today. And I might just give you ladies the opportunity to introduce yourselves. And when you're doing it, so let's talk about who you are and what you do, but also maybe a little word on your money story, whatever that sounds like for you. And maybe we'll go to you first, Jen, if that's okay.
Yeah, amazing. Hello, beautiful people. Many of you that are on the call do know who I am. My name is Jennifer Forster. I am a feminine leadership mentor, especially for women. I love to work with all kinds of people, but women is who I really vibe with, and specifically women who are at the top of their game and should be in love with their life, and maybe they're not. Yeah, so I live as an aligned woman. It is something that I embody. It's something I live. It's something I breathe. And to me, being an aligned woman just allows you to love the life you live. So if you do not love the life you live, come and see me and I will show you how.
All right. So
let me just add, what does money mean? What was the question about?
Like maybe just we'll go into our beliefs around money soon, but what's your money story, Jen?
I had hundreds. My gosh, I had hundreds of them, and they were all hidden, so hidden. And I had no clue that these money stories that were hidden in my unconscious mind, I had no clue that the life I had was a direct result of these money stories. So I cannot pinpoint one, but if I were, money is hard. Making money is hard. Hard. It's hard. It's hard work.
Is that still your belief, or is there an upgraded belief that you've replaced?
There is a complete upgraded belief on that. Yeah, complete upgraded. Yeah, money flows to me with ease and grace. Yeah. Just like the divine feminine energy that courses through me, ease and grace. That's what money is. Yeah.
Well, I feel like before I introduce anything further about me and my money story, I want to sort of hand over to, like, Jodi, you're going to be the star of the show. I'm not sure if you realise that, but tell our audience who you are and what your money story is.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, girls. My name's Jodi Nolan. I'm actually a bank manager at present with Queensland Country Bank. It's a new role for me. I've been in the role about 12 months, and it's a member-owned bank. So that's the only reason I'm here, is that I love the ethos and the values behind proper grassroots banking. So I've got 25 years financial advice experience. I'm an economist by trade. I've got a master's degree in finance, which is pretty much the highest degree you can get in our country in relation to money. And I live, breathe and eat it. I love it. So I've been in this game so long. I love talking about this because it's not canvassed. You know, we grow up with these stories, and often they're generational, you know, what we're taught by our parents and families and things like that. And anecdotally, I know what works, you know, and even just from my perspective now as running a bank, you know, I know where people are going wrong. I know the very simple, basic things that people can be doing and that totally changes their situation. But I also believe and know to be true anecdotally is that the framework that we put around our money mindset is key. There's absolutely 0 point knowing how to do all of this if you don't fundamentally believe that it's possible. So webinars like today, you know, this session with you guys is just wonderful. My story is complicated. It's well known. it's for public record. You know, I've been self-made, and I've lost it all as well in the GFC about 12 years ago, many millions. I know what it's like firsthand, have to recover and start again. So I've also been divorced twice. So for anybody on the call that thinks, you know, I'm having to start again, how can I do this? I'm your girl. It seems to be, that is my pattern in this lifetime, that I'm in the process of breaking those limiting beliefs myself around making money and losing it.
Absolutely love it. And welcome to the Twice Divorced Club, Jodi.
Yes, I need to get married again then, huh? So that I can join the club. I'm only once divorced.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that I'm going to learn so much from you. From what you've just said, there's part of that I want to extract, which is there's the strategy. There's what you see, black numbers on a white page, and the challenges that people go through and the strategy around money. And then there's the energy and the mindset around money. And one without the other is useless. They need to come together. So my own story around money, I really feel like I have aligned my lifestyle and purpose and money. Like, if this isn't alignment, and how much better does it get? Well, it only gets better, I suppose, but I feel like I'm coming more and more into alignment in that respect. But growing up, working class family, I grew up in Maryborough. You know, Dad worked at a foundry and Mum worked at a supermarket, and I don't know how they provided the quality of life that my brother and I enjoyed, but I know I've got a heap of money stories attached to that. And we didn't discuss money. It was right up there with sex and politics and religion. Not discussed. And therefore my financial education has had to come much later in life. And yeah, so I guess that's a bit of background on my money stories. Whereas I've lived most of my life thinking I'd like to earn more and that I never have enough. Now my money story is more like, the more fun I have, the more money I make. And that's as simple as it is. So I want to cast us into our first topic of conversation, if we can, which is how to recognize your limiting money beliefs. And I think I would like to ask you, Jo, to lead off on this conversation. You must have had some yourself at some point in your life, and you must see it in your clients. So what are some of those limiting money beliefs, and how do you recognize them?
As soon as people start talking, I can see, you can see it a mile away, because we all have different levels of limiting beliefs. So I don't believe you ever get to a point where you've just got it all going on. You know, you crack through the next ceiling. So your initial limiting belief might be around, you know, I'm not worthy, money can't, you know, it doesn't grow on trees, things are hard, we can't afford it, you know, all of those basics. But then even, you know, the people that you speak to that are high net wealth, that have got a lot of money around them, they might have other beliefs like, you know, I can't do that project because I won't get the outcomes that I'm after. Or they've got limiting beliefs around, you know, what car they deserve to drive, or what house they deserve to live in. You know, it really does depend on different people. But so I don't think you actually ever get to a point where you've got it all completely nailed. It's just the next scale and the next level. But usually when people start talking about money, they will generally, as a rule, talk about there's never enough. You know, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know, it's a story around I'm no good with budgets. You know, lots and lots of different things like that. So it just depends on who they are. But generally, as a rule, I find people who have a lot of money and it comes to them fluidly and seamlessly, they don't give money an energy. It's a commodity, right? Like, it's just a tool, like a pen you use to write down something. Money is just a tool. It's an exchange of trade. So some of us, like at the moment, I'm exchanging time for a certain value.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a financial advisor, it was a different thing. I would exchange an outcome for money.
Yeah.
So if you just look at it as an exchange, it's an energy exchange. It's already got an energy of its own. When we start putting limits around it and framework around it and words that are negative, you are giving money a negative energy that it doesn't need, because it's got an incredible energy all of its own. And when you start to realize that it's an exchange, it's a transactional based thing, there's actually the biggest tip I can give people is to remove the emotion from it. Remove the emotion from money, full stop.
How do you do that, Jo? I think Ben and I have a clue because of the training that we've been doing recently, but how would you approach that?
So let's just say the someone comes to me and they are robbing Peter to pay Paul. There's not enough money going around. They've got bills coming out of their ears. I let them talk. I let them vent it. Let's put it all down on paper. Put it all out in front of us. I want warts and all. Tell me everything, even the after card bloody card that you've got that you know, like all the secret little zip pays that you're not telling anyone about. Get it all out. And then what we do then is I say, now we're going to create a plan to fix this, and then it'll be solved and you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting time, you're putting all this energy and angst and pain and hurt on yourself that doesn't need to be there, because there's solutions.
Yeah.
The problem is that when we don't know that there's solutions, it becomes overwhelming.
Yes. And so we carry that, don't we? I know we carry it in our minds, but we carry it in our hearts or wherever we carry emotion. And it feels heavy. It's like in my past, I've been in situations where I would have found it difficult to face up to the truth of my money situation, exactly as you were saying, and put it out all on paper. But it's freeing, isn't it, to do so?
It really can be. Really can be. Yeah.
Awesome. I might just throw to you, Jen, around your limiting money beliefs, maybe what they've been in the past and how to recognise them.
Yes, for sure. I'm a bit like you, Ange. I grew up on a dairy farm in Tasmania with 3 other siblings, and money was never discussed in our house. It absolutely was up there. In fact, I think perhaps religion and sex got more airtime ever than money did in our house. And the only thing that did come up around money was that there was never enough of it, and I saw my dad working 16-hour days for very little money, for making very little money. Well, at least as a kid, I had to assume that, because, I wouldn't ask for things because the answer was always no, or we can't afford it, or, all of those things. And so for me, that was very ingrained in me at an unconscious level. The other piece around money that I got from my parents was that people that had a lot of money weren't happy, because there were other farmers in our community that were wealthy. And my mum would point out that they always looked miserable. And so she would say, we may not have a lot of money, but at least we're happy. So that was also ingrained. So when I work with people now, and I'm not a money coach or a money expert, but the limiting beliefs are still there. The limiting beliefs, come through, and they can sometimes come through in a multitude of ways. And for me, shifting those, it has been life-changing for me. And I'm going to give a real example so that everybody can really see that this isn't something we just jump on a webinar and we just have a good old listen to and it feels good and we think we might do a few things at the end of it. And Jo knows how far back. Jo will know me at around the time that I'm going to share, but only in 2018. So we're talking 4 years ago, 2018. I was charging $50 for an hour of my time, $50, because I didn't feel like it was you know, that I could charge more than that, or that people could afford it, or people would pay it. Now, where do you think that came from? That came from the limiting beliefs that were ingrained in me as a child. I never made the connection, but that's absolutely where they came from. And to now, to work with me is $6,000 minimum, you know. So it is not, when we place our value in the external things, then we're also going to get caught in the worthy story as well. I'm not worthy to charge more. I'm not worthy to ask for more. You know, so money and worthiness, Jo, you touched on that, to me go together as well. So I could never have made that shift so quickly without looking at those stories. And Jo, you are 100% right. I had successful businesses. I did all the things. On paper, I had all the things, and yet money still felt hard to me. It felt like there was never enough. It felt, you know, like it was difficult to come in. It felt really shitty when it was going out. And, you know, if I can add a little mystic piece to that, the thing that the thing I really deeply understand about money now is it does have an energy, but it has a feminine energy. And the thing about the feminine energy is she doesn't like to be held tight. She doesn't like to be constrained. She likes to be fluid and free flowing. She likes to be able to come and go. And if you are holding on to your money really, really tightly, then you're coming from a really masculine energy. And that will be the thing that will be blocking that beautiful flow. Now, if you've got money stories, letting go, loosening that grip is going to feel bloody scary for you. It really is. So, yeah, for me, coming in and dissolving those money stories and really looking at your limiting beliefs around money, and I would seek people out to support you in that. Yeah, Jo, Ange, yeah, myself. It's critical. It's critical, because otherwise you're going to just be in your masculine energy, do, with that tight little grip around your money. It's going to constrain it. It's going to block it. And it's going to continue to feel hard work, hard to get, hard to let go of. If you get a shitty feeling in your body when you're about to spend money or a bill comes in, that's this. That I'll give you a little visual. There's this going on in your body. We need to be able to shift the money story so that we can open up our energy, so that we can be in the trust of the energy of money. And it is not designed, it's not meant to be held tightly. It's meant to flow with ease and grace. Yeah. And the more I flow with ease and grace, the more my money flows with ease and grace. It's amazing. Yeah.
So let me invite everyone on the call to open up that flow by inviting you into the comments, into the chat, and say, well, like, what's coming up for you as you hear this, number one. And then equally, I would get these. I've got a stack of journals here. Like, take one of your journals or a notebook, and just as you're on this call with us, just start to list down in the back, maybe, what are your money beliefs? What are your money stories? What are your limiting beliefs? Let them, as Jodi has recommended, get them out of your head and heart and onto paper so that we can more transparently start to deal with it. And as Jen is saying, open up the flow around the conversation. So I'd love to see you come into the chat with like what's on your mind as you're starting to hear these stories from each of us around recognizing your limiting money beliefs. And that is probably my number one tip. It's to get it out on paper so you can see the bullshit stories you're telling yourselves. Right? My own limiting beliefs around money, and in particular aligning my purpose and lifestyle and money together. I started my life and career thinking with my, you know, post-depression era parents, working hard to provide the lifestyle, you know, that we had. I took that into my career orientation at an early age and said, I need to find myself a job for life. Oh, I know.
Oh my God, that just like the
No. In the corporate world. And I still work in the corporate world, but I needed to find a job for life in the corporate world. It didn't matter how my boss treated me or what experience I was having at work. If I brought home a paycheck that could put a roof over my head and feed the family that I was expected to have and never did, then that was a good quality life. And just saying that now, like, I had to reach far back into my history to connect, to find where that story was and connect with it, because it's so far removed from my experience now. And the biggest shift I made was when I started my own business. Some of you will know I got fired from the corporate world. I got fired back in 2015, and I'm like, that's it. I'm never putting myself back in a situation where I'm at the mercy of this paternalistic, crushing culture that I was in, right? I'm going to
so with you, Beauty, I fired myself, so it doesn't matter if we got fired or we fired ourselves. I fired myself.
And so I thought, I'll start my own business because I don't want to be a part of that engine anymore. I want to make a difference, and I want to bring like a gentle, loving kindness to the corporate world, because that's how when we lift each other up, when we follow what lights us up, that's how we get better performance in the corporate world. And starting your own business is like the biggest personal development journey you're ever going to go on. When you look in the mirror in the morning and you go, is there enough money in my bank account to pay my rent and whatever? There's no one else to blame. You can't blame your boss. You can't blame your team. You can't blame your organization. It's, did I show up in my business in the way that's going to attract clients and money, or did I not? Mm-hmm. And you live with your own results. And so it's been a big lesson for me in self-responsibility, moving out of that job for life, starting my own business, being self-responsible. And now I would say I've just recently transcended that again to the realization that the more fun I have, the more great clients I attract, the more money comes into my bank account, and I see numbers in there that I've never seen before, the more fun I have, the more great clients I attract, the more money comes in, and you're just sort of spiraling upwards in that way. So that's what it is for me. And aligning my purpose, lifestyle, and money that's been the journey of it for me. So anything to add there, guys, before we move on to the first steps in breaking up with our money stories?
So I yes. We're all guilty of it. Just quickly, I sold my financial planning firm to head up the bank because it was an opportunity for me for growth as well. So the opportunity to get into grassroots banking, the opportunity to understand how banks work, treasury works, interest rate decisions are made. We're on the precipice of massive change, and to be part of a culture where, because you need accounts, you need bank accounts, you need home loan, just our capitalistic society is in such a way that it costs us so much to live in Australia. This is creating like a really valuable insight for me. But I did have the story around, who am I if I'm not a financial advisor? Who am I if I'm a bank manager? Like, what? So, and I have career aspirations and goals. I want to sit on boards. I want to make changes. I'd like a legacy that I leave behind, that people talk about how their lives were improved because of something that I was a part of. So, so I think that whatever changes that you have within your career, within your work life, like if you're getting up to go to a job that you hate, obviously try and get out of that, try and do something that, but the reality is most of us have to go to work to put food on the table, to, feed children and all of that sort of stuff. And, I think it's what you make it. It's what you make it. It's how you view it. That's your expertise, you guys. That's not mine. But I am very mindful of the fact that everyone wants a laptop lifestyle, but few are prepared to work. And if you're in an environment where you're enjoying your work and you're being remunerated for it, that says more about you being a savvy businesswoman too. Do you know?
Joe, there was two things that I just wanted to, only one, but then you said something, but two. The first thing I just want to say, heck yes, I won't swear, but I will say heck yes. In a world that I'm contributing to, envisioning and desiring, is where we do have aligned women on the boards of banks. So I got goosebumps. Heck yes, girl. Heck yes. Yeah. And the second thing I wanted to say, ask you, do you have some questions that you, specific questions that you share with people when they come to you and they do that big dump? It might, just might be helpful for our people to, with Andrew's suggestion of journaling, some questions. What are some questions that they can, yeah.
Great. It's a great thing. A couple of things. Surround yourself with like-minded people, right? If you there's that sum of the 5 people we hang around most. If you hang around people who are always saying, I'm poor, I'm broke, I can't afford it, no, I can't fly to the south of France, because if you're around people who bring you down, who don't believe in your heart's desire to do stuff, that's a challenge. So one of the things that I do say to people is, where are you spending your time? It's the same with media and all of that sort of stuff. What are you listening to? What are you putting in your brain? Not just about your own limiting beliefs, but if we're looking at the TV every night and the oil price, I watch it like a hawk just because I love geopolitical environment. And I'm all over it as far as that goes. But if you're watching it every night, you're putting fuel in the car and now it's twice the price, and all of those things are naturally going to be hard. They're going to bring you down. So I always say to people when they're sitting in front of me, can we break this down into bite-sized chunks for a start? Let's put it all out on the table. There's always a solution. There's always a solution. It doesn't matter how bad your situation is. Talk to people like me and we will find a way to make it happen. So like I have spent the last 25 years making it happen. You just need to find the right people to help you make it happen. And whether that's getting out of a monster amount of debt, whether that's buying your first home, whether that's getting into investing, whatever it is for you, you don't know that it's available if you don't know that it's available, and it doesn't cost money. So, like this bank that I work with, they've got this smart budget thing that if I had known this was available and free, I would have had every single person I know on the planet doing it. There's tools,
Do you have a link for that, Joe, that you could send me that I can send out for the
I will. I'll dump it down and people can go and have a look. But
Amazing.
There's options and there's things that you can do. Bite-sized chunks is the key. So what do we need to do this week to make you sleep at night or light up your life? Like I'm flying to Hobart next week to do a 3-day tour, a whiskey and gin tour, I might add, around Hobart. It's the little things that make me happy, and I realise that those things are important to me. Time out for me to do something fun is important. I communicate that with the people in my world. Like, what's some bite-sized chunks that we can do? That might be Pilates classes for somebody. That might be art classes. It's drilling it down to the bite-sized chunks about what's going to make you happy today. So if we can fix it so that you're not stressed, if we can put a plan into place that means it's just taken care of, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to agonize over it. You don't have to spend all of that energy worrying about something. Now you can start focusing on the more positive things, and then bite-sized chunks. So next month, how is that going to look? This year, sometimes everybody wants everything overnight. They're not prepared to do the work to do what we need to do. So if you want to drive Mercedes and have a ton of money in the bank and be philanthropic, I applaud you. There's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of people have a story around that. They're embarrassed because they want stuff. No, for me, the more money I've got, the more I can give away. So for me, it's all about being philanthropic. but it's also goals and desires. And so if you think, I don't really know if I'll ever get a house, or I'd like to pay off the car, or everything is step-by-step chunks. And I can promise you, once you start ticking off goals, whether that's I pay my bills every month, or I've just booked an overseas holiday, or I'm quitting the corporate world, I'm going to work on my own. When you start ticking off those goals, you will be fulfilled, you will be rewarded, it will flow, you'll feel like you can do anything. You literally can do anything. I'm a solo mum. I raise my children by myself. They're teens, 12 and 13, and I work full time. And sometimes I'm in overwhelm, sometimes it feels overwhelming. And having the right network of people around you, knowing that I'm revisiting my plans, like every now and then I think, and then I go back and I go, actually, no, I've got all this sorted. I'm doing this for this purpose that ticks these boxes. And then, I just want people really to know that there's always solutions, and that and it's not just about fingers crossed that, it happens for you. We need to work on these things. That's why whoever's on this podcast today, I applaud them, because they are doing it.
Showing up. Yeah. They're showing up for themselves.
Yeah.
And, to be invited to a conversation about money when you've never talked about money, or it's not we're discussing the undiscussables, and you've shown up for yourself today to face some of your limiting beliefs, and to hear us, you'll either be attracted or repelled to hear our stories, and it depends on where you're at, and that's all right. So I might share some of the things about breaking up with money, old money stories that have worked for me, and then we'll throw to you, Jen, if that's okay. Thank you. And Jodi, I just want to say how much I appreciate your practical, grounded, down-to-earth approach. Like Jen and I, when we get together, we can kind of get into the energetics of it, but what you're bringing is so very important in terms of strategy and the practicality of this. So thank you. My breaking up with my money stories, the first steps I took, I'll talk about since I've been in business, because that's the most sort of relevant period over the last 7 years. I've been doing this by the way, every time I talk to my mother and father with their background, they ask me if I have enough money and if business is going okay. And
money stories, right?
Right. And oh gosh, anyway, so my money stories. First thing I did in business, I started out at a price, offering prices that I thought the people who needed my help could afford, and that's already limiting not just my market, but their opportunity, but everyone's opportunity to work with me. And so if you're in, I know that there is some business owners on this call who I've had discussions with. The first thing I did was raise your prices, but also raise your value commensurate with those prices. And that means invest in yourself, do the learning, take the inspired action, take the risks, offer better value packages of services. So that gives you the aligned, justified position to raise your prices. So I've gone from an $1,800 day. And by the way, I really like to hang out with people who like to talk about money now. It used to be really triggering for me to hear numbers like this and higher. But now I only want people in my life who celebrate when I earn money. And when they earn money, I celebrate with them. So I've gone from $1,800 days, which was like in the corporate world, it's a trainer rate, but it's low. And now you get to work with me for 30 days, where my FaceTime with you is about a day for $15,000. And I'm thinking about raising that again, because I've just invested $7,000 in myself learning NLP and timeline therapy. And if you want to unload some emotional baggage in your life and live a life of freedom, I know how much that is worth. And so that has happened over 7 years. I have also allowed myself to hang out with people who have a lot of money and to notice how they live, to notice how they talk. Like Jodi has said, there's no charge for them. There's no energetic charge. There's no other meaning around money other than it being a channel or a transactional vehicle through which they live their life. And they live life large, and the larger they live, the more money they make. And that's been my experience as well. And in breaking up with my money stories, I've allowed myself to take inspired action. And the more inspired action I take, the more money I make. So recently I decided, for whatever reason, I'd been seeing people go to this beautiful place on the Sunshine Coast in the hills. And I'm like, I want to go and spend some time there. And I figured out I could take my dog Pepper. And so I booked myself in. And then I went away and invested in this NLP and timeline therapy accreditation. And I'm like, actually, I want to help my friends with that. And anyway, we've got mates rates now. If you're following me on Insta or wherever, you'll see that I've put a thing out for mates rates. All of that wasn't a plan. That wasn't a goal. That's just inspired action. And so we've got some of my closest friends now coming to join me on holidays with Pepper, the dog. And we're going to do some NLP and timeline therapy with you guys. And I'm making money on holidays. And the energy that I get from that holiday will bring in more aligned clients and more money and more creativity and more inspiration. This is alignment of purpose and lifestyle and money. And then just one final note. So I've talked about raising your prices, upgrading your people you hang out with in terms of don't hang out with people who have negative money stories. And then taking inspired action. The last part of this, which is 50% of it, is self-responsibility. And that's what Jodi's been talking about with the budgeting tools, with showing up in your business or in your job or in your life in a way that means you're self-responsible for the lifestyle that you want to live into and the choices you make every day. And that could mean, you know, there are some areas of self-responsibility that I'm wanting to clean up in my life, but it's about identifying where is it that I need to clean up that energy and coming in and living into that self-responsibility. So I might just throw to Jen. Breaking up money stories.
Yes. Yeah. So I love what you're saying, Ange, and it's how I've set my life up exactly that way. So when I fired myself from the corporate world, I wanted, in the way I'd always gone about it was to strive to get the job, not the job, but get the business, get the money so that I could have the life I wanted. And I realized at that point that was always something that was out there in the future. It was always something that, that was always out of my grasp. And so the thing that I did, and this took some work, I didn't just step into this. This was something that I had to shift a lot of my internal shit around, was to create the life I wanted and then build my business and my work around that. And for the last 3 years, that's exactly what I've done. So I wanted to find a way to do that. And so I was beholden to my mortgage. I was beholden to my tangible, my car and my fixed things that, were telling me that I had to stay in one place, which was the thing that was keeping me from having the life I wanted. So I was never going to get there. So I decided that what I wanted to do when I did my little plan, and this is something I invite everyone to do, is to create a dream of your life, the life that you desire. And I would encourage you to come from the place of desire. When you move from desire, it actually puts your conscious mind to sleep, because it's like the conscious mind is the doer. And the conscious mind is the part of you that's going to want to go and figure it out and figure out how, and then come in and tell you why it's not possible. So when you come from desire, the life I desire, your conscious mind takes a seat and goes, oh, she's just daydreaming. There's nothing for me to do here. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. And just talking about NLP and timeline therapy. This is why I love it so much. Is why I encouraged Ange to get certified. It's the best tool I've ever come across for this work. So good. And so figure out the life you desire, daydream like crazy. I did that, and I realized I wanted 3 things. I wanted to live in beautiful houses. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere, and I wanted to have animals around me, right? I wanted to have lots of animals around me, and the current life I had wasn't conducive to that, and I wanted to be able to make lots of money. So I became a pet sitter for 3 or 4 years, and I was very selective with the places that I chose to stay. And interestingly enough, I was never on a site. It was all word of mouth. I never once did not have a place to stay. And if I did, I booked a bougie Airbnb. It was great. And as Ange was saying, when we are in that vibration, when we put ourselves into the state of what lights us up, that lit me up no end. And so for the past 3 or 4 years now, I have run my business from beautiful homes in all lovely locations around the world, and yeah, with lots and lots of animals. Since the pandemic, I've now settled down in one space for a little while, but I still say I'm located in this beautiful inner city apartment in Brisbane. I'm located here for now. I'm not sure where I'm going to be located forever. And the key piece here is I work with my clients here in this vibration. I show up happy, fulfilled. You'll often hear me talking about how are you starting your day? How are you stepping into your workday? Are you stepping in empty and depleted, or are you stepping in high vibrational? Are you stepping in full? I step into every client I work with, every business meeting I attend, full, high vibrational. Absolutely wouldn't have it any other way. And yeah, I love it. I love being able to work with the women that I work with in this environment. It's just, yeah, it's so good. I love it. I love what Ange is doing as well. I've got a little bit of that going on this year as well. I've just booked a beautiful, beautiful space on the Sunshine Coast, and yeah, doing the same thing, combining a beautiful initiation into the Munich rite of the womb. To me, alignment for every woman starts in the womb. Just want to drop that in. Doing a beautiful, lush women's circle to initiate other women into this sacred rite and connect them to their creativity. And I'll be doing that in a beautiful environment where I'm making money while I'm literally on holidays. It's just it's beautiful. Yeah, and it may not be for all of you to do it this way. I'm not saying we all have to do it this way. What I am saying is find the thing that lights you up. Dream your desired life into existence, and then build everything else around that. You know, the Industrial Revolution, our parents, why are they always in lack? Because it came through the Industrial Revolution. That's how it came through for them. And they've given that to us, to always be in lack, to always be in I don't have enough, to always be in scrimp and save for later. We don't live in that world anymore, but we've still got that conditioning guiding us that we have to have this very solid masculine energy rooting us into one position and one place. It's not how we're here to live. I don't believe. I believe.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The fluidity of money is a feminine energy. Yeah. And she comes from a very high vibration. Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge some of the comments that have come in too, Jen, that will sort of be rounding all of this off. So we've got changing the mindset of allowing money to come and go is so hard, and we get it. I'm definitely strangling it. My story has been that I've had to work hard to make money and save. Yep, been there. My money beliefs are undergoing a sex change. I love this. It's confusing, conflicting space of sex change in a grey, confused space. The man is holding on for dear life, the masculine. Yeah, I get it.
That's the masculine. I so get that. If anyone wants to reach out and chat to me about that, please do. I kept thinking that I just had to keep doing more. And even when I would do this work and learn these things, I would then go out and go straight back into my masculine energy and go, rightio, do, which it's very repelling to the energy of money. And there's pieces around that. Yeah.
Yeah. So money won't come unless you work hard. Sorry, Jodi, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you try working in a boardroom full of men who you know, who for this is woo woo, and you know, and I'm changing it slowly, bit by bit. You know, it's refreshing to hear this. It's a good reminder for me again today as well. You know, I literally have been in board meetings all week. And so to take this space and listen to you two is beautiful.
We thought we were going to learn something from you, which we are.
Which we have.
I also work, I would say historically, 80-90% of my clients are men, highly qualified, conservative, traditional, smart men, lots of engineers, lots of them. And what I find, okay, I don't open with this kind of dialogue with them. I approach them and you know, we talk about what leadership development is. But what I find that they're craving and what they come back for is the deeper conversation that connects them with their body and with their hearts, and to be held in care without judgment, with acceptance in that deep conversation, including around money. And when, as a coach or a trainer, you're showing that you're wanting to, that you're able to open up this conversation, the discussing the undiscussables, and that you hold safe space for them, they will tell you. And some of my friends who are fit this category will say, I'm expected to have it all together. On the outside, I've got the wife and the kids and the car and the house, but inside I feel trapped. I feel stuck because I can't move out of this job that I hate. It earns good money, the golden handcuffs, if you like. And in fact, a lovely female client said that to me a couple of days ago. So, you know, men need this.
Yeah, Ange.
Find a way to approach that conversation.
Thank you for dropping that in, because it's really, Matt, I want to just add two things on the masculine, feminine energy. I don't mean male and female. Every man, every woman, every human, no matter how they refer to themselves or how they identify, has masculine and feminine energy. It's shown to us in the universe all day, every day. Our whole universe is made up of masculine and feminine energy. And when I'm talking about feminine energy, I'm not saying that we sit back on a cushion and chant Om and everything's going to come to us. It doesn't work like that either. And this is why do I refer to the aligned woman? Because this is what that is. That's bringing those two parts of us together, so that when we are in action, we are doing that from a space of alignment that has our feminine energy and our masculine energy co-creating together. You will need to do stuff. You will need to take action. But if you're taking it from this stranglehold masculine energy and you have no feminine energy coming through what you do, you are going to be repelling everything that you are trying to draw in, because you'll be coming from lack. You'll be coming from it's hard. You'll be coming from work. And there is no fluidity in there for anything to come to you. We have to bring these two parts into full alignment. Might be some limiting beliefs under that as well for many of us.
And I'm just becoming conscious of time. We've got 8 minutes on the call left, so I might open it up in the chat to questions and see what we can address, like what's coming up for you guys as you hear this. And it could be, how do I get out of this and into what you guys are talking about? Like, what's coming up? What are the first steps that I take? Any of those questions, I'd be happy to answer for you. I'm going to summarize the 3 big actions that have come out of this call. That we didn't plan this, but this is what's come out of it for me. 1, make a list of your limiting beliefs. Get it out of your head onto paper. 2, I know Jen's got a desire journal. Here's another journal of mine that might even turn into my desire journal. Make it beautiful, whatever.
Oh, look at my gorgeous desire journal. Look at the gorgeous gold. Oh, I love her so much. All my deliciousness is in here.
So I would encourage you to list your limiting beliefs somewhere where you're willing to discard them, and put your desire list somewhere special. And then Jodi's going to hit us with some practical tools. We'll send it out as a summary of this call for the link for I think it was a budgeting tool. Jodi, is that?
Oh, yeah. Look, I might actually do the 5 key things. I'll put it in as a summary after this, and then that way they can just have something tangible that they can start this afternoon or tomorrow or whenever they feel inspired. And then, you know, it's in no way that you are able to do this yourself. You don't need, you know, fancy programs. You don't need, this is just the 5 things that I would take and do with any situation that want to go from here to there.
Fabulous. I might just give you both an opportunity. We don't have any, if there's any questions you guys want to drop in, we'll address those. But as you do, we might just give, I might throw to Jen first and then Jodi, just to close out with your summary thoughts of what's like. We never know, by the way, what's going to come out on these calls. We feel like we're aligned enough in our intent and our spirit around this, the service that we want to offer you guys. So what has come out of it for you, Jen? We might start there.
Look, I feel like I've really given everything already on my take on this, and I would really encourage everyone who's tuning into this to take some time and just play in the desire space, and I would invite you to notice the change in your energy. Tune into your body when you're in that desire space, because you're going to notice something. You're going to notice a very different vibration, energy, if you like, energy. That's the energy that we are meant to be living in as human beings all the time. That beautiful high vibration, it's purity, it's joy, it's clean, it's clear. And when you move from that energy, my gosh, you can literally have everything that you desire. Yeah, you really can. And there's some pieces to do in between those two, but start there. Desire, and notice the shift in your energy. Notice how much more abundant you feel when you move from desire. Yeah, abundance begets abundance. We must start from abundance, not lack.
Love it. Thank you. Jodi, what's your summary? What are you taking from?
I totally agree. You know, I totally agree. Money makes money, let me tell you. And when you have it, it keeps flowing to you. When you don't have it, it's like the tap switched off. So just think of it along the lines of, okay, I'm not quite sure how it's going to happen yet, but I'm trusting that it will happen. And I'm doing the things that I need to do to make it happen. And that will be surrounding yourself with the right people. That's taking a good stock of where you are right now. Like, I would love nothing more than somebody to say to me, I have written a desire list. You know, this is my desires. This would make my heart sing. And then put people like me in your world who help you make it happen. Do you know? So
is it an invitation, Jodi?
Yes, absolutely. Anyone's more than welcome to reach out to me. And you know, the best thing about being a bank manager is that it doesn't cost you anything to see me now.
You do Zoom?
No?
I love that.
It doesn't cost you anything to see me. So, you know, by all means, if I can help anybody, definitely reach out. And it's just simple things that make a big difference. And if you don't know that they're available, or if you don't know that there's options, there's always solutions. I haven't found a situation yet where I can't help. And if someone's in dire straits, I know the right resources, associations to put you in touch with to get the money that you need. You know, if you're thinking, I want to do something, but I don't know what, that's a perfect place to start as well. You know, so I just think whoever's on this call is meant to be here for a reason. I love the vibe that you two have.
We do too.
It makes my heart happy. And yes, and I really appreciate the opportunity of being in front of your audience today.
Oh, thank you for joining us, because we know that your time is precious. For me, it's a big reminder about this. It's the masculine and feminine coming together, but it's the mixture of strategy and energy and inspired action and the knowing and the trusting yourself. And you need both.
You do.
And those resources can come from all different sorts of places. So I just want to throw to next week. Episode 2 is about creating a new lifestyle and money behaviours. And we're going to also talk about the struggles and the identity shifts that you're going to go through and how to transcend them, because the identity of poor and scarcity and lack is a much different identity. You're welcome, Justine. Is a much different identity from the expansion into someone who has money and lives a life beyond worrying about money. So talk about that.
And I'd love to just drop one thing on that, especially for everyone watching. And I'm just going to say this, I'm not there yet. I did a post on Facebook about this today. I'm not there yet, because there is no there. And it's really important that we all know there is no there. There is just where we are. And I'm not a millionaire, and I have the life I love. And it's very important that I feel it's really important that we understand that we can have the life we love. And you can continue to aspire. Do I want to be a millionaire? Yes, I want gobs of money. Money, I love money. I want as much money as I can have, because I can have more impact in the world when I do. I can do more good things. I can support all of the beautiful animals, which is one of my passions. I can do more when I have more. And I'm not there yet, because there is no there. We get to continue to work on our money stories. We get to continue to work on our abundance mindset. We get to continue to clean and clear and recreate these new versions of ourselves. And I want to live that way for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so.
Thank you so much, Jen. That, like, I love that final addition of we're not there because there is no there. There's always more expansion that awaits us if we're willing to live into it. So just a last word of encouragement to connect with us on LinkedIn. Like, it's your verbal invitation. Facebook, Insta, we're all doing a heap of stuff on all of those platforms, and a lot of my stuff, I don't know, and Jen as well, is in our Insta stories that you don't see on LinkedIn or Facebook. So follow us there. And you too, Jodi. I'm sure
up close. If you want to get up close and personal, come to our Insta stories.
Yeah, life really is. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. So much for joining us. If you're watching this on replay, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Just adore you, Jodi. Thank you so much. We go back such a ways, and some of the stuff you shared with me 4 years ago, I still implement in my life today. So I adore you so much.
Right back at you.
Thanks for all the thank yous, ladies. We'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.
Bye.